Could I get Commissioner Clayton to say our invocation, please?
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, please be with us as we go about the business of the county. Please be with our young men and women in foreign lands as they go about doing their duty to allow us to have meetings such as this. Please be with all of those that have been involved in different disasters during the past week. In thy holy name we pray. Amen.
Commissioner Powell, can I get you to do the pledge allegiance?
Stand and face the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any adjustments or discussion about the agenda? Hear none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Got a motion on the table. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And just so the public and anybody streaming knows, we've got Commissioner Perrier on the phone with us. He had to dial in and conference. He had a work-life balance issue that he had to take care of this morning, and so he'll be on the phone. You won't see him sitting up here with us, but he will be here in the capacity to vote and to move things along in the agenda. So first off, I'd like to ask Sergeant Donald O'Dell to come forward, please. Front and center. I do this with a little bit of hesitation. Donald and I went to high school together, and he's retiring, and I've still got quite a few more years to do, so I'm not doing this with the greatest of joy, but we appreciate all of your service to the county. So, resolution of appreciation. Whereas Sergeant Donald O'Dell has served the people of Person County during his tenure working for Person County as a Deputy Unit Supervisor at the Person County Sheriff's Department. And whereas Sergeant Donald O'Dell has served the citizens of Person County with honor, integrity, sincerity, and dedication, providing accurate, concise services for 16 years, August 2002 to January of 2018. And whereas Sergeant Donald O'Dell has earned the respect and admiration of all who have known him and worked with him throughout his career. Whereas the County of Person recognizes the many contributions Sergeant Donald O'Dell has made to the county and offers him sincerest best wishes for his retirement. Therefore, I, Tracy Kendrick, Chairman of the Person County Board of Commissioners, do hereby extend this resolution of appreciation to Sergeant Donald O'Dell for continually striving to make Roxboro and Person County a better place to live and work. Adopted this day, 26th day of February 2018. Thank you.
If you don't mind if I'd like to say something. This is one employee that retired and cannot wait till his 30 days is up to come back to work. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Sergeant, you'd like to say anything?
It was an honor and privilege to work for this man. He gave me a job, and I'm thankful I got to serve it and not have any too many bad times with criminals, so I'm pretty good.
All right.
All right, we'll see y'all.
Thank you, Donald. So, item number 2, we have a public hearing, SUP 0617, requested by ESA Boston Solar LLC on behalf of property owners Edgar and Terry Talbot for a special use permit to allow a solar energy system on 57.85 acres located at 8117 Boston Road, tax map and parcel number A68-10 in the Rural Conservation District. Ms. Oakley, so motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Have a motion to go into public hearing. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, ayes have it. This is a quasi-judicial zoning decision whereby witnesses are to be sworn in and subject to cross-examination, no ex parte communication, and requires finding of fact. Anyone coming to provide sworn testimony?
Yes, sir.
Is it Lori and
and Mr. Javier Lache. All right, they will be providing testimony. Caroline, will you be providing testimony as well?
Yes, I will.
And Caroline. So I need both of you two to sign this. And then Mr. Chairman Kendrick will administer the oath.
Put your hand on the Bible, please. All right. I state your name. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will tell the truth,
that I will tell the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
as testimony offered in public hearing
as testimony offered in public hearing
for a special use permit
for the special use permit
requested by ESA Boston Solar
requested by ESA Boston Solar
on behalf of property owners
on behalf of property owners
Edgar and Terry Talbert
Edgar and Terry Talbert
to allow a solar energy system
to allow a solar energy system
on 57.85 acres located
on 57.85 acres located
at 8117 Boston Road
at 8117 Boston Road
in the Rural Conservation Zoning District.
in the Rural Conservation Zoning District.
Thank you. Ms. Hope.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, for this presentation on the special use permit for the solar farm, Caroline Darnell, our staff planner, will be making presentation to you today.
Good morning, and we have a PowerPoint too. Yep, there we go. So as stated, this is SUP 0617, and for the record, all state and local zoning ordinance requirements have been met for this public hearing. This is the parcel, the aerial view. So as you can see, it's surrounded mostly by woodlands and then a few residential structures around. This is the future land use map, and so part of this property belongs in the rural residential, which is allows for commercial and residential and agricultural areas. And then, as stated earlier, this is in the RC Rural Conservation Zoning District. And then attached is the site plan for the proposed solar farm. So as you can see, there's a small stream that comes into the middle, and the solar panels will be to the north and the south of the stream. Land use site plan, the applicant has requested to install a gravel drive and 2 parking spaces, and that'll be per section 81(1) of the planning ordinance. They plan on constructing a 20-foot wide gravel access drive from the existing 60-foot access easement. It will have a 6-foot chain link fence with barbed wire around the facility. It will not require well and septic. There will only be occasional people out there for maintenance and things like that, so no one will be stationed at the property. It's in the Roanoke watershed, so it doesn't have any restrictions, and it's not within the 100-year special flood hazard area. The comprehensive plan defines this as rural residential, and like I said earlier, that includes commercial, public uses, agriculture, churches, residential. And then this meets goal 1 and 2 of the land use plan. So it development use patterns, allows for a variety of land uses, and then it enhances the economic growth potential of the county. This is incorrect. It's actually zoned RC, as I said before, but it meets the requirements, and as was passed in October, at the October meeting, it will meet note 10 of the permitted table of permitted uses, which includes the decommissioning plan and the performance bond. And then staff recommends that if the board approves the request, the following conditions be placed on it. So it includes all necessary permits, erosion and sedimentation plan, and a final as-built survey. Planning board recommended the approval of SUP 0617 unanimously at the February 8th, 2018 meeting. And as the board makes their decision, they will need to address the 4 findings of fact, which are on the board in front of you, and if you have any questions, I'm here, and then the representative from ESA Renewables is also here.
The decommissioning and performance guarantee, does that have our new statute that talks about putting bonding up front to take the decommissioning out?
Yes, yeah, and that'll be required before they get the permit to start construction.
Any further questions? For planning and zoning? And we have Mr. Javier. Javier
Yes, sir.
wants to speak.
Good morning. My name is Javier Latre. Thank you for having me here. I'm going to be brief. I have a little bit of an accent, so if you don't understand what I said, then I can repeat. But basically, as she supposed, it's a solar farm. Structures won't be any close to the property, will be at least 50 feet from the property lines and not higher than 12 feet. If you have any questions about the specific site or the interconnection, I'm more than happy to answer.
Any questions for the presenter? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, is there a pleasure of the board on either granting or denying the ESA Boston Solar LLC? Oh, I gotta close the public hearing. Yes. Got a motion on the table. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, out of public hearing. Item number 3, consideration to grant or deny the request of ESA Boston Solar on behalf of property owners Edgar and Terry Talbot for special use permit to allow solar energy system on 57.85 acres located at 8117 Boston Road in the Rural Conservation District. It's a pleasure of the board.
Move for approval.
Got a motion on the table for approval. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Is that approval with the 4 findings of fact and staff recommendations?
Certainly. Duly noted. With the 4 findings of fact and staff recommendation.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 4, request by county address coordinator to add Faith Haven Lane, a private roadway, to the database of roadway names used for 911 dispatching. I'd entertain a motion to go into public hearing to consider this.
So move.
I got a motion on the table. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Ms. Sally Vaughn.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you have in front of you, 4 private residences are located on the same private driveway off of Cunningham Road. Our emergency responders have reported issues in the past with locating homes accessed along this driveway. To alleviate those issues and to bring the addresses into compliance with local ordinance, the driveway must be named. The addition of this road will require occupants of 4 existing residences to change their address to reflect the new roadway name. We've been in communication with the residents out there, both personally and through our local fire chiefs. And there was a unanimous decision by the 4 people that, or the 4 households that live out there, to name their driveway Faith Haven Lane. There were no dissenters on that choice. And this will, go into effect pretty quickly if the board chooses to move forward with this renaming. I think there are a couple of folks here from the community in support of the proposed naming.
Are there any questions for Ms. Vaughn before we get public comments? All right. If you would.
No one signed up.
No one signed up. So.
No one signed up to speak.
Someone would like to sign up. I guess we're offering that at this time.
No one's here against.
Since no one here against, we'll come out of public hearing. All right, I've got a motion on the table to come out of public hearing. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're out of public hearing. Item number 5, consideration to grant or deny request to add Faith Haven Lane, a private roadway, to the database of roadway names used for E911 dispatching.
Move for approval.
Got a motion on the table. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving Faith Haven Lane as a private roadway, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have anybody signed, no one signed up to speak? All right. Item number 6, discussion or adjustment of the consent agenda. Item number D, we have a budget amendment number 12 that was revised, and it's sitting at our seats. Do we need to go over that? Not necessarily.
Not unless y'all have questions. I sent out an email with that as
Right.
well.
Anybody have any issues or questions with the budget amendment? Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Got a motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, ayes have it. Item number 7, resolution amending the Person County Economic Development Commission for a change in membership. Commissioner Jeffers.
Go on, baby.
You want to go first?
Get mine over with, go ahead.
This came to us by way of the chairman of our Economic Development Board, I think a few meetings ago. And so my suggestion would be to add a member of the mayor or his designee of a member of the city council
So,
for a voting spot.
all right, so Kyle, did you hear that? His suggestion is to add the mayor or a designee as a city representative to the Economic Development Board.
Designee must be city council though. If it's not the mayor,
Elected
it has to be a
official.
member.
An elected official.
Yeah, mayor or other elected.
Mayor or other elected official. All right?
I got it.
Is there any further discussion? Anybody have any other things on it?
Is that his motion?
You make that in form of a motion? All right.
You're ready for a motion, that's my motion.
All right. All right,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
could-
motion on the table. Any further discussion?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Going back a little bit with history, and I appreciate Mr. Newell coming forward and making that recommendation, and Mr. Jeffers taking that up, bringing it forward this morning. Go back a little bit in history. I'd like to say the objective was in the beginning with the EDC reorganization. There were some needs there for some changes that I think would expedite some actions within the EDC board, and especially in the business and industrial sector of Person County. And the concept at that time was to have a smaller board, which could possibly be a little more responsive in improving the overall job market of Person County. And so the idea of a smaller board was never to exclude anyone. That was not the objective in the beginning, but to have maybe a little more flexibility and a little more flexible board, I would say. The concept, I think, was good. However, I think in due diligence that we all should be aware of, there still may need to be a need for some tweaking that we're doing, I think, right now, in order to be the very best we can be. And as Mr. Jefferson mentioned, we've had that discussion. I'd spoken with each of the commissioners over the past several weeks, and all were in agreement to do this, to add the mayor to the board as a voting member. And I believe the EDC board is one that perhaps offers the strongest support this board could have in the way of doing business in Person County and looking to the future and improving future development and growth in the county. So I think this is a very good move. Along those lines, though, if we are going to make any changes or any recommendations for a change of number in that board, with these thoughts in mind, I'd like to make a substitute motion to add Mr. Mike Wilkins to the EDC board, along with the mayor to the EDC voting member. I'm sorry.
The statute requires a maximum of 9 members, so you
Okay.
would need a member to come off
Okay.
to substitute Mr. Wilkins in.
Then, okay, I'll withdraw that. Because I don't want to lose any of those either. So that's not the objective. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead with the motion.
All right, we have a motion on the table The substitute motion was withdrawn. Is there any further discussion? All right. Hear no further discussion. All in favor, please indicate. Having a board, having the mayor or a designated elected official appointed to the EDC board. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Thank you. Item number 8. Now, Amy, it's your turn.
You're up.
You're excited about getting back
I am.
to
I'm
work.
excited to get this over with.
Excited to get back to work.
Yes. Good morning. I am presenting what we call a preliminary resolution this morning that expresses the board's intent to finance the construction of 2 public safety communication towers, the purchase and installation of related facilities and equipment, as well as building improvements to Huck Sansbury Gym and various school buildings. A new development with this project since our last discussion at the board's retreat is the proposal of adding 5 building improvements that were deemed critical and necessary during staff's evaluation of requested CIP projects that we received on February the 16th. These include a new HVAC system for the Huck Sansbury Gym, roofing replacement for early intervention, cooling tower replacements for Helena and Stories Creek Elementary Schools, and heating and cooling valve replacements out at South Elementary. The recommendation to add these projects to the debt financing is the result of the funding constraint created in the CIP with the addition of the large $1.3 million fiber project that is also scheduled for next year. This funding strategy allows the general fund to move forward with the much-awaited fiber project without having to defer other major capital needs. The average annual debt payment for the financing of the proposed projects is estimated to be $380,000. The maximum amount of funds necessary to finance the project is $4,750,000, but less is anticipated. Firm estimates and final loan documents will be available for the board's consideration at their meeting on April the 9th. The resolution itself establishes certain findings and determinations regarding the proposed financing. This includes, but is not limited to, the fact that the debt is the proposed funding mechanism for these projects, that the maximum amount of $4,750,000 is sufficient to cover the cost, that the county has the capacity to take on more debt, that an increase in taxes to fund the repayment of debt is not anticipated, and the county is not in default of any of its debt. It also provides for the authorization to file an application with the LGC for the financing, requests that they approve the proposed financing agreement, and designates certain staff and special counsel to represent the county's interest. Unless you have any questions, it is our current recommendation that the board approve the resolution as presented.
Questions, comments?
Move for approval.
Got a motion on the table to approve this resolution as set forth by Amy. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 9, you're back up again. Request to accept Piedmont Electric Membership Corporation loan for ambulances and turnout gear.
Yes, we are excited to announce that the Board of Directors for Piedmont Electric Membership Corporation, or PEMC for short, approved an interest-free loan in the amount of $776,086 for Person County. The purpose of these funds is to purchase 3 ambulances and turnout safety gear for our EMS department. The loan period will be for 5 years with an annual debt payment of $155,217.20. Other associated fees include an annual loan service fee that will equate to 1% of the outstanding balance as of December the 31st each year, and a loan processing fee. As you can see on the abstract that was included in your agenda packet, the total cost of the loan service fee over the 5-year period is about $15,522. The estimate we received for the loan processing fee, and this is just an estimate at this time, is $3,000, which would be a one-time payment made at closing, currently scheduled for August the 1st. The first year's cost on this loan will be around $164,426, covering the loan fee at closing, the first loan payment on September the 1st, and the 1% service fee due by December the 31st. For the remaining 4 years, the average annual cost for this loan will be approximately $157,000. If the board approves and accepts PEMC's loan terms, the first year's cost will be built into the county's fiscal year 19 adopted budget. If these terms are acceptable, we would now ask the board to take action to accept the interest-free loan offer from PEMC as presented and grant the necessary authority to the county manager and myself as finance director to execute the associated loan documents on the county's behalf.
Any questions for Amy? All right, we have a request on the table to accept the Piedmont Electric Membership Corporation loan for ambulances and turnout gear. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Got a motion on the table to approve and accept the EMC money. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Item number 10, appropriation of funds for EMS. Mr. White.
I've been here too much lately. Good morning.
Love seeing you.
Yes. Thank you, first of all, for approving the loan. As we move forward, the loan will not close until August 1st. I think that's correct. With that creates a couple of challenges for us. One is the fact that our 3 big trucks continue to cost us a lot of money. Second is being in August, if we were ordering the ambulances then, we're looking at probably a maximum of 180-day turnaround due to the change in the year of the chassis from the 18 to the 19. And what we'd like to do is see if the board would appropriate funds to allow us to go ahead and order 1 ambulance and the turnout gear so that we'd be in OSHA compliance. At a cost of $272,335, and once the loan's approved, then we would move that money back to the county funds. Also, the price of the turnout gear we have priced this time is slated to increase sometime between March and April.
So this 46, I'm sorry, you ready for questions?
No, yes.
This 46,280, is this for all the turnout equipment we plan to purchase?
Yes, unless we get new employees, and that would be included in our uniform budget from that time forward.
I just didn't know if that was tied to 1 ambulance. I was making sure if it was, the price was going to go up, we should go ahead and get it all now.
No, that's for every employee. So.
Any further questions?
If I could just clarify, he's basically asking for an advance of fund balance to allow him to order 1 ambulance, purchase the turnout gear, and when we receive the loan proceeds in August, then we would reimburse the fund balance appropriation that would be made at this time.
And I understand it is an OSHA requirement.
The turnout gear.
It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. Okay.
I believe that to be true.
Yes, if we put our paramedics in vehicles with patients, then they're required to have turnout gear. So.
Move for approval.
All right. We have a motion on the table to approve the appropriation of funds from fund balance and pay the county back when the loan proceeds come through. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Item number 11, appointments to boards and committees. Ms. Brenda Reeves.
I am presenting 2 citizens that are interested to fill vacancies on current boards and committees. The first one is for Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. There has been a vacancy for quite a while for someone representing the faith community. Teresa Johnson has requested appointment to fill this vacancy, so I present her to the JCPC board for the initial 1-year term representing the faith community. And also, we have a vacancy on the Region 8 Aging Advisory Council, and Dr. Rosalie Gates has requested reappointment. She has previously served, did not submit our application, but has agreed to continue in that capacity if reappointed.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Got a motion on the table to approve the 2 candidates one for juvenile crime prevention, one for Region K. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Chairman's report. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the Wi-Fi tower ribbon cutting that we had last week. It was a well-attended event. We had quite a few folks from the community. We had some people from the state who were part of the North Carolina Wireless Initiative that came out and spoke and took part in the ribbon cutting. The staff was there promoting it, and I'm always glad to see when a lot of folks show up and support those type things, and it was, in my opinion, a success. Manager's report.
I would just remind you that the Economic Development Commission is meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock at their usual monthly meeting. And you have also received invitations to the Star Safety Awards breakfast for our General Services Department on Wednesday at 10. If you'll let us know if we need to put a meeting announcement for that as well. That's all I had.
Commissioner Puryear?
Nothing to report. I'd just like to thank the board and Heidi for the short notice of allowing me to conference in. Sometimes at work, unforeseen issues happen, as we all know, and I just want to thank the board for the accommodation.
Thank you, Kyle.
We like it when you vote over the phone. You don't vote no.
And your meetings only last 30 minutes, too.
We knew you had the work-life balance. We were trying to get through it as quick as possible.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner Jeffers.
Just kind of a heads up. The state, DSS, used to pay our providers for children that receive subsidies that were in daycare in the county. The state took that over. We were happy that no one's calling me saying their check didn't get cut on Friday or they couldn't pick it up on Friday and all that stuff. But now we've learned that the state has overpaid a lot of the providers. And across the state, it's up to millions of dollars. And now they want the county to try to recoup that from these providers that they overpaid. And so we're telling them right now that no, we don't want to do that. We are out of the business. Y'all have that. So just if you start hearing some grumblings out in the community, maybe from some of these providers, that's what's going on. So just kind of want you to be aware.
Thank you. Commissioner Clayton.
Well, we went to, a group of us went to Polk County looking at the extension request or soil and water request for an additional agent down there. I call it an agent, and we looked at what they had up there, and Sybil can give you more details than I will give you, but I will tell you that it was quite an interesting trip. That old building, school building that they had converted into, they had a farmer's market type thing in there, and they had lots of other stuff in there that they were doing in each section of it, which was sort of where we went with the Helena School at one time. We looked at trying to do different things in there, and it kind of got sidetracked. But they used this position to coordinate between the Soil and Water, Cooperative Extension, and the community college to operate that thing. And now their difference in theirs was once they got it up and going, they turned it over to a 501c3 to operate because they could get grants and loans and different kinds of funds from sources that the county government couldn't get. So they did that. So it was an interesting idea. Now you got to remember that Polk County is very rural compared to, even though it's the other side of Charlotte, there's about 20,000 people in the county, 18 or 20, but they're not but 13 miles from Chimney Rock, I believe, and then goes on to Hendersonville, and then they're not far from Asheville and Spartanburg. All those big areas are close by. And also, they have a great big new horse complex up there that you'll be seeing in the news at some point in time. Was it Tron, the name of it? I can't remember, I believe. But it was a multi-million-dollar thing. It was bigger than any shopping center you've seen in Person County that they were building brand new all at one time, and it's all dedicated to the horse industry. They had, you just wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it. They even rerouted part of the interstate and went under the exit ramps to do all of this, so it was a big deal up there for them. But getting back to what we went there for, we need to, during our budget session, go back and look at some type of rotation on these vehicles. We drove a vehicle, didn't have but 13,000 miles on it up there. It was 11 of us went in that van, and we had 2 tires to go out on it because it dry rotted, I guess, is what was wrong with them. But it was, the last one that went out blew out at about 60 miles an hour. It was right an interesting little ride over to the shoulder. So, you know, we need to be looking at that in the budget of how we're going to handle some of these things. I know that we had a plan at one time of rotating the vehicles out after about 3 years and taking the money, selling the vehicle and taking that money and buying new ones, and that way you cut your maintenance budget way down low. But the recession stopped that. We started, actually, I think we may have made some purchases doing that, but the recession killed that idea. But that idea needs to be looked at again. And if we got any vehicles with tires that old on them, even if they don't have many miles on them, they need to be looked at. I mean, the tire came all to pieces. We had one to go out going up there, and we got there and they replaced that one, and then the next one went out when we were coming back, and we were moving along when that one went. We weren't sitting still like the first one. So it's an interesting ride. My fingerprints are probably in the seat in front of where I was sitting. So, but that's something that we need to look at in the position. You need to talk to the people that went. It was 11 people went. PCC sent 2 people because they were interested with their ag program they're trying to start over there. They were interested in this. And I think it may have some possibilities. You're not going to do it exactly like somebody else does it. But like I said, Sybil's more up on the details than I am. She was taking notes and doing a good job of that. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chairman Powell.
Nothing really to report, just talking about the budget and all the hard work you'll do. I did leave you a Cardinal Innovations notepad and pen, so you won't have any excuses for running out of ink and paper.
That ain't excess expense, is it?
All right.
We'll talk about that later.
All right. Entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So
Got a motion on the table to close this meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
You can leave now. We're not going to vote on anything else.
Okay.
Bye, Kyle.